In 2014, I founded Soul Survivor Outdoor to reach active duty military and build spiritual fitness and resiliency. Our warriors need a firm foundation from which to operate. So as a commander, what's in it for me? We're impacting that service member in such a way that when they return from one of our events, they're better prepared to engage in daily life, and they're much more mission effective. Since 2014, we've hosted over 10,000 active duty military in 11 states. Here's the story of one of those service members and how they've been impacted by Soul Survivor Outdoor.
My name is GySgt Jose Flores. I am currently a drill instructor at MCRD San Diego, currently on my 13th year. My career began in 2008 when I joined the Marine Corps straight out of high school. I was a senior in high school. I had never planned on joining the military at all. Matter of fact, my father served in the Air Force, so I kind of wanted to stay away from the military. So I was like, I'm not gonna join, So I went back, talked to a recruiter, and from there I just fell in love with everything he had to offer. He made me realize that I had an idea, not a plan. And so I joined the Marine Corps because I was 17 at the time. So the only thing that I had to get parental consent, my father said he would sign if my mother signed. My mother said, she will not sign unless I went on and got a college degree, because I will be the first in my family to get a college degree. So we made that, and she specifically stated, I don't care if you're in Iraq, I don't care if you're in Afghanistan, I don't care if you're in the field, you're in Japan, you will get a degree. I don't care at all costs, I don't care what you have to do, you will get a college degree. Being overseas in a combat environment specifically has made me realize that, what we do it makes an impact. It makes an impact on everything that we do. Yeah, so I returned from a deployment in 2018, and I hit a really, really dark spot in my life. I remember being in my bed and I was crying, and I got a text message from Rick Wolf, who was the gentleman that came to speak to us. And in his text, he said that there was 2 no-shows that were not going to show because they couldn't come to the event. And he asked if I wanted to attend. So right away, I responded with, I want to let the junior Marines fill up. And he had mentioned that we've already reached out to everybody, because he had the same mindset. So we already reached out to all, there's nobody else that wants to attend. He goes, would you like to attend? So he kind of re-emphasized that again. It was kind of, encouraging me. And then I remember making an excuse. I typed out a response to Rick saying that I was not going to attend. I came up with an excuse, everything that I could. And as before I sent, I took a pause and I reflected. I was like, what do I really have to lose? Because at that time I felt like I was faced with 2 options. I can either sit there and continue crying and just let my life deteriorate, or I could take this step, go do something that I've never done, because prior to that I had never been skydiving in my life. It's always been on my bucket list. It's always been something I wanted to do. And I was like, and just get out, go meet people. Like, I knew Rick was genuine when he came to speak to us. I was like, I need to be around people like that. I need to be around individuals with, with open arms and an open heart that had they weren't asking for anything in return. They simply were there to serve. So I was like, I want to be around him. I want to be around his team. And I responded, I was like, yes, I'll be there. Even after I sent that message, I almost had like buyer's remorse. So I was like, I'm gonna take it back. I don't want to go. So I did take it. I show up the next day, and the entire time that I'm going to the site, I just came up with excuses like, I could turn around now. It's not too late. I could turn around. There's a light. I could turn around. And I just felt like God was saying, just go, just follow me, and just, this is where I need you to go. So without trying to overthink it, I just went. I went to the event, and I got there, and right away, just how they greeted me, like they didn't look at me like a staff sergeant. They didn't look at me as a Marine. I was just a brother. And they just had an amazing event planned out for us, but not just the skydiving. Prior to the skydiving, we had an individual who was a retired Marine come out and speak to us, and he shared his testimony, his story. And I think that was one of the greatest things, because no one knew what I was going through. I kept it internal. I couldn't vent to anybody else. Everything that I had was internal. So I had nobody to talk to. I had nobody that I wanted to, because I don't want to be vulnerable. It's like sometimes as leaders, we don't want to show weakness. We don't want to show that anything is wrong with us. And we put this facade that everything is great. We're strong, And then when I spoke to that individual, he shared his story. It was almost spot on what I was going through. And I remember when he was talking, I had to really hold back my emotions, but I was like, this is my God sent me, to hear this. So we did the skydiving event. It was complete. I'm not scared of heights, but for some reason that day I remember looking out that plane and I was like, I can't back out now. So we did, and it was a wonderful event. But I remember as the plane, they opened up the door to let us out. I remember looking down and just seeing the scenery and the houses and the mountains, and I was like, this is what God created, it's so beautiful. But I was so stuck in that dark place of where I was at that I was just focused on the negative. And then when I saw that, to me, I was like, this is, God has created so much good for us that I think that alone was an eye-opening experience. I jumped out of the plane, it was amazing. Something that I probably would never do outside if Rick had not pushed me to do it. For me, that experience, that event was, at the time, it was a spark, and reunited my faith because I was such at a low, dark place in my life. And then from there, since that day, it kind of put me back on my path, because at that time I was also failing school, which I had never done in my entire life. I've always been a straight A student, 4.0. I remember leaving there and going back to school and hitting the books, and then I ended up getting back on track, and I was able to steer my way up to finish my education. But that was that reset I needed. And then grew my faith, and I just continued from there. I've just been striving, and I've just been excelling everywhere. It just makes me reflect, like, what if I was not blessed with that opportunity to meet Rick? What if I was not blessed to go to that event? How long would I have suffered? Would I ever got out of that hole? Yeah, and what I want others to know is that I feel that the organization Soul Survivors, and Rick and what his staff did, I think they saved my life without even realizing it. Yeah, so I would encourage any active duty service member that if they were invited to a Soul Survivor event, I would encourage them to go. There's so much they can gain, their experience, the networking, the individuals, and I think it will attest to itself. But I would highly encourage it, and I'm so blessed that I took that leap of faith and that I went. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known, what that organization does. I think it was great, and the experience and just the people. I think it's a blessing.
If you're a commander and you want to find out more, give me a call at 619-840-2054 or email me at rick@soulsurvivoroutdoor.org.